In the dialogue, we have today with us Professor Sriram Ganpati, who is the professor in Electrical Engineering Department of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Professor Ganpati is currently developing a cough and speech analyzer which can detect COVID-19 patients in early stages. Welcome to the show, Professor Ganpati.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Professor Ganpati, could you please explain about your concept first?
So the idea is based on using sound-based diagnostics for tool for respiratory ailments, in particular directed towards the COVID-19 infection. So before this pandemic happened itself, there has been ideas proposed by several other research groups across the world where they have used cough sounds, other respiratory sounds like breathing sounds, and to some level even voiced sounds like speech sounds to identify problems and ailments that happen in the lungs. And these include problems like pneumonia, problems like asthma, tuberculosis, COPD, pertussis, and other sorts of respiratory ailments that happen for general population. So once this COVID-19 pandemic started to spread around the world, we also, as a bunch of researchers from the Indian Institute of Science, including folks from my lab, as well as other colleagues in the Indian Institute of Science, along with a doctor from our health center, we started looking at how we could use our research on machine learning and acoustic signal processing, our skills on these directions, to put together a diagnostic tool which can base the technique on the data provided by the participants through their smartphone. So this data of cough nature, of breathing sounds, and of voice sounds like phonemes like R, E, or A, as well as some counting exercise, is all we request the participants to provide. And once we have enough data collected from three types of people in particular, people with respiratory ailments other than COVID-19, of course, people who have been identified with COVID-19 infection, and people who are generally healthy in the population. So once we have enough data from these three sets of people, we would try to build and put together computer algorithms that can differentiate using the data itself into these three classes. And this sort of a tool, if successful, what it provides is that all you would need is very quickly use your own personal smartphone at your home or a isolated place where you are, need not violate any social distancing rules or any put any health worker at risk. Secondly, the cost effectiveness. So the idea is that the cell phone tool that we are trying to develop would be completely cost free for the participant. And the time wise, all it would take is once you provide the data, maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute for the machine learning algorithm to churn out the result. So, and the end goal, therefore, is to try to see if this can become a pre-screening tool. It may not match the performance of the chemical testing that is currently the gold standard, which is the RT-PCR test. But what it will can provide is maybe a lesser accuracy, but a much faster, contactless, cost-effective tool for pre-screening. And this can probably help us prioritize who gets to do the chemical testing.
As you mentioned that it is a mobile tool, that means it is going to be an app or something else. And also how many samples, voice samples you have collected so far?
So it is going to be like a web tool, which can be accessed through mobiles, which can be accessed through any handheld device, like if you have a tablet or for that matter, a laptop. So the website or the web tool is mobile friendly, and we are also going to make it language friendly for the Indian population by having the web tool be accessible in multiple Indian languages. And what the tool would do is initially collect some health status of the participant in terms of a questionnaire. So this questionnaire will ask for age, your gender, then your current health status, meaning whether you have some fever, cough, or you have loss of smell, you have other pre-existing respiratory ailments, like you are having any tuberculosis identified in the past, or pneumonia or asthma. So a bunch of these health questions are initially asked, and then the tool goes into recording your voice and sound data. And at the end of it, the entire data gets basically uploaded to a cloud where the computing happens, There is no personal identity of any of the participants that either we take from the tool or we store in our device. It will be completely anonymized. All the data that we are getting for training our models, we are also having a manual check of the data to make sure that the right data is only getting processed and no personal identity of any of our participants is compromised in any manner. Once the set of samples, so you had also asked about the number of samples we would need. The healthy participants, we would need 1,000 or more participants. We already have about 600 to 800 healthy participants in the group at the current status. We also would require two other types of categories, as I mentioned, people who have other respiratory ailments that are different from COVID-19. So these could include pneumonia, asthma, other lung disorders like bronchitis, upper respiratory tract infection, pertussis, or any other ailments that people may have, and people who have been identified by COVID-19 test to be COVID positive. So if we get about 100, 200 subjects of the respiratory ailment nature and of the COVID positive nature, then I believe we have a good starting set of data set to prepare this algorithm. And one more point to note is that once the algorithm is built and the diagnostic tool is developed, it's not the end of the story. As most of the machine learning models out there, what these kind of tools will also do is that the more they collect the data, the better they get in terms of the performance. So once the tool is out there, we would still be focusing on trying to improve the algorithms with more and more data and make it more and more accurate so that it can be potentially useful for the society at large.
How do you collect the data at present for the project?
So the predominant amount of our data collection at present has been happening through a crowdsourced manner, that people are getting to know of the effort through various means like through media, social media, and other places. And they are volunteering their data mostly through their mobile device. So for example, if you are listening to this conversation and you would like to contribute to our research, all you would need is to use your mobile device like a smartphone, log into coursera.isc.ac.in and follow the instructions to record your data. And at the end of it, the data gets stored in an anonymous fashion in a cloud server. And what we do at the end of every day or end of certainly 3-4 days batches, we collect all the data from the cloud and start doing some machine learning, some analysis of this data to bring them to do for some modeling and classification purposes.
How much time do you think it would take to come up with the system, which can, safely analyze all the cough and speech, samples? And also, are you collaborating with the ICMR for this?
So let me answer the two questions in that order. So the amount of time we believe is largely dependent on the amount of participation we get in the tool. The more quickly we get the amount of data that we are looking for in the preliminary set, the faster we could go ahead and do the tool development process. So right now, our best estimates or the fastest estimates would be the next month we are going to aggressively push to get the data that we want, and then the following month we would put our heads down to get this tool working or to some level of performance that is interesting in place. So a couple of months is the best time that we anticipate. And coming to a second question, what we did was when we started putting this tool together, we realized that getting the data of COVID positive patients, the access to the spreading the word to those patients required us to go through the review of the protocols by various hospitals. And the most of the feedback that we got was to get the tool or the data collection protocol itself reviewed by the Indian Council of Medical Research, the ICMR. So we submitted a proposal by the end of April to the ICMR for their expert committee to sit and review it. We made a technical presentation through a virtual meeting, and the committee gave some set of feedback, and they were largely of the opinion that an AI-based system to do diagnostics would significantly boost the public health system. While there are lots of variants of cough out there, and we would like to make sure that the algorithm is foolproof in that regard, the committee recommended us to go ahead and contact local bodies, nodal centers, hospitals, and various authorities to push for a large-scale data collection.
Mhm.
So once we have a large-scale data collection protocol in place with various hospitals or nodal authorities and health centers, this data comes in and we can start pulling the analysis together. And the proposal committee said that once the tool is built with reasonable data, the proposal can be submitted again as a diagnostic tool, and the ICMR will do a second round of review, this time on the diagnostic tool, perform some sense of clinical trials. The clinical trial essentially means, like, they do the chemical testing as well as they do the diagnostic tool that is based on the voice and sound based app that we are building. And they will try to provide us with number of false positives and number of true positives that the algorithm is able to generate. And this can give us some sense of how accurate the tool is and what sense of utility the tool can provide to the general population.
I wonder how will it work, when around 75 to 80% patients are asymptomatic. They might not be having any symptoms like cough.
So the asymptomatic patients, the tool, we are ourselves not targeting that we will be able to catch them, at least not at this moment. There are the next level of asymptomatic is what is called pre-symptomatic. So in the pre-symptomatic or in the mildly symptomatic category, there are evidences that the lung function, the breathing function, and a mild level of cough are already starting to exhibit. So what we would tend to do is to right now use this data and call them as the COVID positive case and try to see if the new data that is being provided is close to the cough or respiratory sounds or the speech sounds provided by people who have been identified with COVID-19, and then make a claim whether your data that you are providing, is it close to the class of people who have been identified with COVID-19 or not. So it is more like, how similar is my data or your data to the set of people that you have been identified with infection. And more similar you are, the more higher the probability that you have been infected with COVID-19. So the asymptomatic, coming straight into your question, we simply don't know at this point whether the tool will be useful for them. If there are signatures or biomarkers of the disease on the voice or the breathing sounds or the cough sounds, then the algorithm will be able to pick. The advantage, for example, for things based on AI is that these tools get to listen or get to look at large amounts of data. So a doctor, while he has lots of skills and expertise built up through various training and experience that they have obtained through treating various patients, the AI algorithms probably see a lot more data than a typical doctor. So they kind of complement the doctor's skills in the sense that they can summarize large amounts of data much more quickly.
Mhm.
So this is where we feel that, for example, if you have a particular deviation in your cough sound or respiratory breathing sound that is away from how a normal subject data looks like, then the AI algorithms can pinpoint this and say that, hey, your data is away from the normal class, and therefore your data looks like you may have an infection.